Yeah. We are connected, gentlemen. Thank you. In the tātou kātau, mea mai haere mai, koe te kai, tēnā hui o te Puari, o Hapori, o Kāwhia. Greetings to you all and welcome to today's Kāwhia Community Board meeting. It's 4 o'clock and I declare the meeting open. Hang on, will you say the opening karakia, please?
O tēnā tātou, tuatahi mea tiki a koe, tānia te tuka whakarai. O tērā mea tiki a koe ki Jeff, the chairman of the Puari, o tērā ki a tātou katoa. I mua tō tātou kuka i mua tātou. Nō reira, tēnā tātou. Pauhihiri, paurarama, pau o te whakaaro, pau o te tangata, pau o te aroha, te pau e hiri nei a tātou, mauri tū, mauri ora, haumi e hui e, tai hie. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
Just to add to that, I'd like to welcome the members of the public that have turned up here today and all the hard-working members of staff and board members. Any apologies? Yeah, apologies from Dave Walsh. Someone move as apologies be accepted. Richard and seconded. Board member Few. All those in favour? Thank you. Late items. There is a late item that's come in, and you board members have seen the presentation from Kelly Dockery regarding the trapping program that she's applying for funding. The reason that this has been entered as a late item is that Kelly only became aware of the avenue to go and apply for some funding, which closes very shortly. So rather than wait to this become an agenda meeting item at next month's meeting, which would mean she'd miss out on the funding, we've agreed to pop it in there as a late item. So then my recommendation is that the Kāwhia Community Board accept the late item from Kelly Dockery regarding a letter of support from the chair of this board that she can use to apply for funding to have a trapping program. Okay. All those, I'll move that.
Yep.
Or seconder. Okay. All those in favour? Yeah. Passed. Thank you, board members. Declarations of conflict of interest. Nothing. Confirmations of the minutes from the last meeting. Board members would have read all those minutes. Yes. Read. Can someone move that they are true and correct member?
If there's anything on there,
I'll bring it. Yeah, I'll just move them first.
Okay.
Yeah. Moved. Board member seconded.
Yes, I'll second.
All those in favour? Aye. Against, carried. Any matters arising from those minutes?
Just a correction.
Oh, yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yep. On page 5, in the first paragraph, it says would exclude several marae. There's no S in marae. Yeah.
And point taken, it should have included all marae, excluded all marae, not just several marae, all marae, which are very cover out here.
Just while we're on that page, Mr. Chairman, it's the second sentence, the top of page 5. The word influence, I think, should read interest. Could be community of interest. Yep.
What are you saying?
Other than that,
Is there anything else from those minutes? Thank you. Decision reports, sorry, confirmation of the minutes. We now move to the public forum, and I understand we've got one presentation from Hano Orsbury this afternoon, representing the Tātou Kāwhia Moana. Kia ora, Hano. Just a minute.
Tēnei ai here on behalf of the Tātou Kāwhia Moana. Tātou Kāwhia Moana is the Kāwhia group involved in the inner harbour erosion, of course, on the Kāwhia dunes north of the harbour mouth of the river, and then advocacy group, and we've been involved in that. We've been going for good 4 years now, and we were formed as a result of I guess, our concern over the trees along the inner harbour, falling into the harbour. I guess that was the catalyst to the group forming, and looking at an alternative development as part of Kāwhia, and David's going to speak on that aspect of it. So we've been going 4 years now, and we've done a lot of work. And so at this point in time, we are looking at it having, I guess everybody's familiar with what we've been doing over the last 4 years. Like with the tail Kāwhia mine. So
I'm not familiar with it at all.
okay. Yeah. No. And yeah, so I just wanted to just make sure that I can make the move. Yeah, not familiar with that. So we've gone for 4 years now, and with the Monetary Trust, the Makakumara and the concerns over the access going out over the harbour, it became an addition to, very important addition to our Kāwhia as part of our country. So we're at the stage where we've drawn up a pamphlet. Well, before I go on with it, I think David, you might elaborate on the access.
I'm part of Political Charitable Trust. We've been in operation for the beach patrol for the last 15 years. The concern is with us is that the vehicles that are getting stuck out at Kāwhia or Kāwhia, which everyone refers to as the lagoon. And as you're all aware, from March to the beginning of May, we had 3 vehicles that had been stuck in the lagoon, all in the same area. We had another vehicle that was stuck along Kāwhia, which is the beach that's going from Matatua Point from Nothing into Kāwhia. Last week, I think it was the week before, there was another vehicle that was stuck at Kāwhia. Now, our concern is all these vehicles that are getting stuck from Kāwhia or Kāwhia to Matatua Point. And we really feel that now is the time that the council should help us with our alternate access way. The alternate access way is really what we see is a plus for the community, because most of these vehicles that are getting stuck out of Kāwhia is because they're coming back too late for the time and they're getting stuck. Now, the alternate access way would give them all their time on the beach. Hannah will talk into that later on, but our Onegu's concern is these vehicles that are getting stuck. They're in the harbour overnight. One was there for 3 days, which I'm sure most of the community in Kāwhia know about that. So we're here to promote what Te Kāwhia or Kāwhia Moana is trying to do, is to get this access way from Tom French Grove onto the Ocean Beach. Whoever goes out fishing or to, I think they don't need to worry about the time. And this is what we're trying to present to our community, that this access way is to their advantage. Now, just last week, what has been happening, and we have a Kāwhia just past Matatua Point. Now, every so often, and it's usually about every 4 years, our Kāwhia either leaves his den or comes back. When his presence is known as 2 indentations in the beach. This time, it hasn't been that bad, vehicles could still get through. The previous one, no vehicles could get through. So there is an advantage for the community if our access way is allowed to go through. Thank you, that's our presentation, my presentation from Moneku Charitable Trust. And I'm also part of the Te of Kāwhia Moana, which
Kia ora.
We'll carry on. So we've had 4 years. 4 years we've planted from Kāwhia, which is at the corner of 5 to Marae. They've planted right along that embankment, right around to Concrete Grove. So we have had scientists part of the Tāne Maruta Trust looking at the species and trialing all those species of trees with different types of fertilizer, so we've been doing a lot of background work in order to restore, I guess, the inner harbour and the coastal development right up to Aotearoa mouth. So we've done a lot of work there, and we know exactly what trees that we need to continue that planting over the next 5 years. And they all obviously eco-sourced from within our community. So done a lot of work. So we're carrying on now, and a lot of this alternative access, obviously we need the support of the community. So at this point in time, we've got a few flyers, and we hope to come with the council meeting this coming Saturday in the long-term plan, and to the public these flyers, which is telling people basically who we are, and that we want the support of the community and the public in general for this alternative access way to happen. So that's the first part of the plans. So with the council's support, we'll look at having a series of meetings in the school, and the purpose is a start of engaging with the community and seeing how so where's the alternative access? That's been agreed to in principle at this stage. So all we're saying it's at the Time Fence. It'll happen from the Time Fence Grove heading south for about a kilometre along existing tracks, and then over the dunes to the beach. So we're going to talk about that yet, and how we're going to work with that, and with plans, and with the regional council and getting consent as to how we go about to get over the dunes. The track is within Tāne Kāwhia Corporation land, and that's land with the forests at the moment. So it's allowing an easement in Tāne Kāwhia Corporation land to the beach. So we intend to get an engineer that will substantiate what we're doing, and the budget to do that in the meantime. So I guess without jumping the gun too much, it's part of that we have this community engagement. So as a result of that, we'll no doubt talking with the council and looking at the results of the work. So we've got in our handout brochure, we have a Facebook page, so people can make comments from the series of meetings that we've had here. We'll meet with groups like the fishing club, for example, and any other fishing that we'd like to go out and spread the word. So yeah, we're looking forward to that engagement with the community and taking things from there. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to do this stuff.
Thank you, Arno. Yeah.
Questions?
Board members, have you got any questions?
No, just a comment that I applaud the initiative of Tāwhia Kāwhia for what they're doing. I think probably your proposal to have some pamphlets available this Saturday at the public meeting here is great, and I think that's a good start to get your consultation process, if you want to call it that, underway. So, you know, I applaud you for that as well. So, good luck. You know that you've got my support. Just for clarification, I'm not a member of Te Tāwhia Kāwhia Moana, but I am the council's liaison person, if you want to describe it as that, and have been associated with it right from the outset. So I'm familiar with all of the things that have been spoken about over the last few years. So, good on you. I wish you luck.
Any other questions?
3 years off.
You're sitting in the temporary group to liaise with lost service Kāwhia upgrade that we're sort of looking at. Is there any, and are you actually saying to us that you want our permission to hand these brochures out at this meeting?
No, I'm going to.
I don't know whether you give them.
Talk about that. See if sort of. But I will, and no doubt they're going to say yes or no. So
it might take, I'm not stealing the thunder, it might take a minute.
yeah,
I support this.
yeah, we do want to take advantage of that council meeting here, and so, well, you know, and from that, no doubt, we're going to talk with Andrew and how we can use this information that we have with the council and making use of it, obviously. Yeah.
You?
Mention, where would you look for your funding for a project like this?
We have what's the name of it? Is incorporated society that was formed. We have governments, and so we intend to look at any you know, there are advantages of grants out there, and we work in conjunction with the Waikato Regional Council, and all that. So we intend in our governments to apply for those grants, and we've had to date some assistance from Waikato Tāwhia, and we intend to look at money and funding our program. And yeah, so we've got lots of things on our mind. When we talk about the noxious weeds coming down from Fern all the way down the Waikato, you know, things, and this is, you know, some of the things that we hope that we can have some funding for and set up some employment to cater as in conjunction with council support. So our group is wide ranging, and we are there to support the inner harbour farmers, if you like, farmers and that around the harbour. It's not just Kāwhia. So that is our intention, and
I know, could I, are you able to mention the funding avenues, potential funding avenues that Marama talked about at the meeting? She was talking about some government grants that were available up to, as I understand it, they had a pot of about, was it $2 million or something that applied for, testable fund or something?
Yes, it is. We have Marama
Murudini.
is a leader at the Auckland University of Auckland, and she has some funding. We have in the system funding to look at the studies on the sand dunes of Kāwhia, and how they relate to technology and how everything connects to why we're here. So there's a big study that they intend to do with us and here, and look at that survey and information around the dunes, these dunes, just the dunes of Kāwhia.
That presentation is tomorrow.
Okay.
And Ray Montgomery, my opinion of the very promising that we will get that grant if we achieve that. So there is a start there and on that line. But that funding, that's only just one of the fundings that we've got planned.
I think it can encompass anything that we do in the sand, i.e. alternative access, i.e. the planting and all that. So some of that funding can feed into those sorts of operations. So what we can do, as long as it's attached to that sand.
Yeah. Thank you for the explanation. Remember, do you have any further questions? Good.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Tēnā kōrua. Yes, it's been an issue for many years. It's not something new. So, yeah, thank you again for bringing it to the table. Engagement is a big take, and I see you've already started, well, when I say you, it's us, you know, as a community. Te Tai o Kāwhia Moana, Oniku Charitable Trust, also Tani Mahuta Trust and Tainui Kāwhia Corporation. So, you know, and now you know, our community. So totally tautoko, with the raru, with all the waka going there. I've seen it for myself over the years, and yeah, totally support the solutions that we can come up with for the future. Nō reira, tēnā kōrua.
No further questions? This one for me, the pamphlets are ready to go, good to go?
Yes, so they're in the courier at the moment. I was hoping that I can leave a couple of for you.
Have you got plans to put them out, say, in the library, in the store, in the Kāwhia Motors?
So we intend, in the meantime, is to filter through the sand, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, the general store and the outlets like that, the voting type. And
I think you had some large A3s to go up too, didn't you?
yeah, and so we've got some posters that we going to put the meeting dates that we intend to have in this hall. So over the next fortnight or so, we'll have those posters out, and we just need to some of the things that the chairman has to engage with is the council and what how they might fit in when we have these public meetings in terms of the bylaw discussions and all that. So obviously we're talking with the council and Andrew.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's critical that you get as much information out to the Kāwhia community as you can on this, and start the ball rolling on that engagement process, and then get the feedback, and then pass that feedback further up the line, that's for sure. Okay. So thank you.
I guess within a fortnight, having put the pamphlets out, we'll need to look at some dates. And so to start with Ross's permission, we may be with our pamphlets. This is the new.
No further questions? Great, thank you.
I just want to say one thing, right? Just think that keeping the community well aware of the plans, well aware of the things is pretty vital for this, because it's going to start for up of this community. People receive the wrong information, all sorts of things going on.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that much information for the public as possible.
Yeah.
Just avoid asking.
We're on that pamphlet, we'll have a Facebook page that we hope to put all the information, a lot of the information that we've talked about today on that. But the public meetings will spell out any question that the public might want to question.
What you big posters in the, I think we've got a community notice board, haven't we? Across the road.
Yeah.
Does anyone use that?
No, we'll be doing our best to get it out there. I mean,
Might have
we're well
some
aware
real
that
estate people to see if you can get them in the gear.
we're well aware that we can make all the wishes we like. There's just and one, but the end of the community.
Yeah. Certainly, I agree with that. That'll be the critical thing, is getting this out.
We intend to do all of that, best way we can, social media and a series of community. So our next priority will be to set some dates around that public meeting. And I'd like to say that we can talk to the council and that area as well.
Right, thank you for that. Hana, Hora, board members, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just clarification, that is open session, so any time from 12 to 15, not a meeting as such, it's just time to talk to the staff, pick the members.
Yeah, just sorry, just one more was that we are making a submission to the long-term plan as part of that one.
Kia ora. And I'd just like to take this opportunity with a nudge from my left-hand side, and my apologies, Tanya, for not officially welcoming you into the meeting. We've got our CEO, Tanya Winter, is live streaming to us, keeping an eye on us.
Kia ora koutou.
Was that you and the clicky thing to me?
If I may interrupt, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, I was going to formally introduce Kathy Plowright, who's just had to leave because her ride back to Oklahoma is leaving. So, but I think you all met Kathy in the run up to the meeting, but very important role she's been with the council about a month now. She's the PA to the 4 group managers. So in the event that none of you can make contact with a relevant group manager, we'll be able to run interference and try and keep us all in line. So it's a very important role.
Thank you, Andrew. Moving on to the decision reports, there's no decision reports. And moving on to information only reports, the first report, information only report, will be coming from Ross McNeil and giving us the Kāwhia, Aotea, Oparo concept plan project update. Item 15.
Kia ora koutou, in thinking of container, so the report is short. I've seen you read it, so as I commented earlier, province session this Saturday between 12 and 2 p.m. So there will be an activity for younger folk, and at 2 p.m. we're holding a party session. So that's going to be promoted. The younger people who might be interested in the forum, then we encourage them. A slightly different, process, than a drop in section, but. The, second month, really is scheduled for Friday, 16th of June. And, Cassidy is, again, meeting with the communication is on that.
So where's that meeting with?
So that will be in council chambers.
On Friday, 16th.
Friday the 16th.
Yeah.
And just an update on the sister project, which is the Ultra-High Rural project. We will be in Kāwhia at a session on Thursday, the 22nd of June, probably from 10:30 to 12:30, and then the balance of the rural area, rural session in between on Saturday, the 24th of June, and we're just finding the time frame for that. It'll be at lunchtime, late evening, and good afternoon, and going to the circle and some activity for the young folk, and that will show us some elements to this. I'm certainly getting contacted and getting feedback through the online channel already, so a number of people Saturday's session, so various communication channels to be in the market.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Ross, do those communication channels include the information going out to the absentee owners?
Yes, indeed. So all of the rate payers on our database that we provided email contacts, we ring-fence this area, and those folks have been contacted regarding this Saturday's session, as well as if they can't make it, the online opportunity, and we do exactly the same for the balance of our.
The online suggestions that are coming in, are they going to be made available to us as a community board?
So we'll collate all of that information, and then we'll come back to you as a board once that's been There's been a slight extension of the time frame, but it did take us a little longer to get some elements in place. So we're now looking at an adoption before Christmas, but we're targeting the final council meeting of the year, which means we will come back through the board at the various stages through the project, but in December with the idea that you work the draft plan. I will provide more details.
Any further questions?
Yeah, just one more, Mr. Chairman, through you. Ross, the 4.1 of your paper talks about time being available and activities for kids. Have we actually made contact with the school and the early childhood centre to let them know that if the kiddies are wrong, the parents will come with them?
The principal is building from advisory group. I'm not aware of. I know. Don't get it directly from us, to say then
Yeah, I'm not sure who's actually running the early childhood centre then.
Sarah, William?
It is Sarah. I'll mention it to Sarah Williams. No, thanks, Ross.
So it's certainly been suggested and I made contact with the drawing the school more formally into the process. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the students are not able to come online. Promise something and maybe.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, just want to look through the question, Ross. So we're talking purely about the Kāwhia and / Hopewhiro plan here.
Yes.
So as far as the rural plan is concerned, the likes of the local schools like at Hopewhiro and the likes, is information going to go out to them as well, or are you relying on your rural advisory group to do that?
So we've got agencies or entities or organisations with email contacts, then we'll do our best to communicate through those channels.
Well, it's just a suggestion because most of the schools, not all of them, have their own newsletters. So if they had something that they can shoot out as part of their own newsletter, it would be advantageous. Yep. I can give you an email for Hopewhiro. I'm not too sure about the other ones.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You've done a great job on that.
No further questions? If we could just have a good turnout from board members if possible on the Saturday, so. Midday, it's important that we seem to be a bit of a face for this thing as well. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from Aotearoa, and no doubt you're getting something through from the Kāwhia community, so look forward to that. Moving on to item 16, the Civil Defence Emergency Management Quarterly Report. I'm sure all members have read that very long and precise report. Oh, that's open information. Okay, I'll move that report be received. Do we have a seconder? All those in favour? Aye. Carried. My apologies. Item 16 now. Civil Defence Emergency Management Quarterly Report presented by Andrew Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Presenting the report, but all the good work was done by Dave Symes and Kathy Shaw in pulling all this information together, so credit's due. Like to take it as read. There's a lot of commentary there about the government's measures to support the Hawke's Bay, in particular after the big cyclone that blew through there. I'd just like to make note of a couple of developments that have happened since then. There was a big announcement just today about the government supporting properties that cannot be re-inhabited. In particular, 236 in the Hawke's Bay, and they anticipate with Auckland and Thames Coromandel Peninsula that number will rise to 700. Their words are that they are going to support government support for councils to buy these people out. So we'll be interested to see what shape that takes and how deep local authorities have to dig into their coffers to provide their share of the support. I think this will probably give a very good lead into the shape of the forthcoming legislation, this much vaunted Climate Change Act, to see how that goes. Also, properties in Category 2, where the people can remain in their houses, provided that councils, with government support again, provide adequate protection against flood events. So I think whichever way you cut it, it's going to cost councils a lot of money in these areas.
Yeah. Because Andrew, so you, Mr. Chair, Andrew, you're saying that the government is going to make funding available for people to have their houses bought, out, but that's only half of the cost, isn't it? Because then we've got to demolish them and clear the sites, and there's a whole host of.
I know, lots of intended issues. Yeah. So it's big dollars whichever way you cut it. So it's just a bit of comment on that one. The item 4.5, I wonder how many of you noticed your cell phones making crazy noises on Sunday afternoon. So that, although that was national, that's a facility that can be used on a more focused area. So it could be for a district or part of a district. So that was interesting. And also, just as an enjoyment to the notes there about the response plans. Kāwhia already has a response plan, but just a couple of weeks ago, I attended a meeting with FENS, and we're looking at elaborating on that plan to incorporate a wildfire response plan, which, if it, in the horrible event that it actually occurred, would require an evacuation of the town. So this applies to both Kāwhia and AFT.
Did that meeting include the local fire chief, Andrew? Yeah.
No, this is a very preliminary stage, just how we'd actually go about planning to make a plan. So
Because
we're not getting into the detail of
no,
it.
but he did indicate some time back that he was in the process.
It most definitely be drawn into
to go
the,
into that plan.
yeah. So yeah, any questions on the report?
No questions from the board members? No, I just want, it is a very comprehensive report. It makes you, one of the part of this job is makes you realise what goes on behind the scenes to you know, to make things happen when there's an emergency.
I think, sorry, it's just as a further sort of commentary opinion. I mean, the result, what we've had experience over the last 3 years, we've been through an extended El Nino period, weather pattern, which brings those very moist easterly and northerly weather patterns onto the country, which has basically saturated the land. We've seen that in the flooding, the slips, the subsidence. So now we're being signalled that it's going to get flipped right over, go to El Nino, which is the westerly pattern, dry winds coming out of Australia. So we could be going next summer. We could be worrying about fires and droughts and the other side of the coin, so to speak. And I think what we're going to get is we're going to get the pattern, but we're going to get the same extremities within that.
Call the meeting back to order. Floor is yours, member Few.
Tēnā tātou. Okay, the update on the storyboards is that work in progress, but the narratives are coming together. We have secured 4 sites of significance, which is at Taiho, Omiti, Te Papo Kārewa, and Paretau. There may be two others as well. The group will have more narratives hopefully by our next meeting. So at the moment, I've been receiving them and liaising with the group and through Te Runanga o Ngāti Kairo. And it's great because we've got some rangatahi that are involved as well. So our young ones are leading the way as well, which is great. And it's all part of our succession planning, which is great to see as well. So once we have the narratives, we'll bring it back and then we can start the design work. So that's the plan at the moment. So that's the update. I have some of them online watching this afternoon. They can't be here, but yeah, that's my update. Is there any questions? Any part-time?
Excuse me. Yeah, just a couple. Can you just tell us where those sites are again, please?
At Taiho,
Which is-
Omiti, Te
So-
Papo Kārewa, and Paretau.
Right, okay. And are they all on council land?
Yes, so these sites of significance, we are working in with the fitness trail.
Yes.
So so we're working in together. So these sites of significance, hopefully these will be where the fitness trail fitness areas are as well. So we're not having signs all over Kāwhia. So for instance, Taiho, which is where the garage is, around that area, there's a patch there that we can. Taiho was a place where when the waka came in, they rested there. So it's a starting place where we can do warm-ups as well as for the fitness. And also we can have the kōrero with the, well, where it started with Taiho and the narrative around that site. The signs will be in Te Reo Māori as well as English.
Right.
But Te Reo Māori would be our first priority.
Okay. Can I just clarify something? The area down by the wharf there, by the garage, I understand, and I need to perhaps you need to talk to Trish, but I understood that land has been reclaimed over a period of time, and that there may not be a title for that land yet, and that Trish is actually working through with Murray Hislop, I think it is, to see, because when the frame went up out here, I must confess at the time that I was surprised that it went up, because when we were looking to put the playground up, we were told we couldn't use that land because there's no title to it. So I'm just flagging the fact that if you're going to put something over by the garage, you just need to make sure that the council does actually have some jurisdiction over the land. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay.
Point taken.
Any questions?
I'm all good. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's very,
Sounds very
it's
good.
very exciting.
Oh,
It's an exciting space to be in.
I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it.
Yes,
That's for sure.
kia ora.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're working hard there. Councillor.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I'd just like to thank the group I've been working in with. They've been putting a lot of research into the narratives. So, kia ora.
And they're listening?
Yes,
Kia ora.
they're on live.
Kia ora. Thank you. Thank you, team. Board members' updates. Starting to the left.
Well, I've been away, so I've really got nothing to report, other than that where I was, the weather was very warm, not like here. We got up to 41 degrees one day. Yeah. So, no, it's good to be home. No, I don't have anything to add, Mr. Chairman, thanks.
I did my library visit yesterday. It looked really good. And the only issue I think is I think they need a little bit of an improvement in lighting. blind like me, I could notice it. That's you guys may not have noticed it, but.
It was mentioned to us as
I
well.
don't know how they go about doing that, to be quite honest. I think they need some improvement in lighting, and they, but what they've done looks good.
Councillor Ross, yeah.
Cool. Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I agree. We just finished going up to see the library and
Annette McGree.
yeah, she asked for some more lighting, so you totally agree. My report is 2 weeks ago, Waikato Tainui staff came out here. There was about 65 staff, and we did a tira-hoi haidina, which is the tira-hoi is a 4-day haidina that we pedal on Wakaama. We start from the Waikato Iti, where the source of the awa starts, talking about Waikato awa, where the source starts, and we end up at the Puaha, at Port Waikato, where the river ends. This 4-day haidina is the first time ever we started here in Kāwhia. So all our staff, we had 2 buses coming out here, and we had our waka ama on the, we had 2 waka on the moana, and we also liaised with Haunui, with Hoturoa and the crew there. So why I'm bringing this up is great for Kāwhia, hearing the staff coming out here and hearing the stories and the history of where our waka is buried, and the stories of the navigation when the waka arrived, because this is the start of where we come from. So I was really excited to bring our staff here to Kāwhia. Some hadn't been here before, and to arrive here in Kāwhia was a glorious day, and to paddle up, and the sites of significance that Hano and Daisy brought up today is where we paddled to. So we went right along there, and we paddled back, and Haunui was right there with us, and we exchanged the time. So great for Kāwhia, great to come out here, and because Waikato Tainui, I hear, you know, we do support a lot of initiatives out here, and even with our Kāwhia Taiao group, they mentioned Putia, you know, the assistance that Waikato Tainui gives. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed when I rang up at the hall. I was ringing to book the hall for a backup plan if the weather was wet. Sometimes we have our rules, but sometimes we just have to be a bit lenient sometimes. In Kāwhia, there's not a lot of places we could go to. Makatū was booked at that time, and where else could we have gone? So to be turned down when I requested to come here to the hall was a bit disappointing. I just want that noted. I know we do have rules, but sometimes, you know, you just have to be a bit lenient because we only have so many places and resources here in Kāwhia that we can go to. And Waikato Tainui, we do support a lot of community and initiatives here in Kāwhia, but we were lucky enough that it was a fine day. So that's my report with the with our haidina here in Kāwhia, but also the whole 4-day haidina was beautiful. We did end up staying up at Te Kauri Lodge, which was the only, well, it was beautiful up there, but as I said, all of our marae in Kāwhia are closed at present. The only marae that's open is Makatū, and where Makatū is booked, we've only got so many other places to go to, and we were lucky enough that Te Kauri Lodge was free at that time. But it was just wonderful to have Kāwhia put on our map. This is we say Kāwhia is the pito o te ao, the centre of the universe. No reira, yeah, that's pretty much me, so tēnā tātou.
Just a quick one from me. There's for those of you who can now open your emails, you'll see that there's a new community constable that's been appointed to Kāwhia, and he's starting today, and he will have a flexible shift pattern. It will be day, night, weekend, whenever he's needed, and he'll also be keeping an eye on the road between the state highway will be doing a bit of traffic control work as well. So
I had a communication from Richard only this morning, and he's going to come out to the thing on Saturday. To the
to the community day. Yeah, that's good.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is he resident or would he be?
No, it's not.
It's just a,
He'll travel at the stage.
on roster.
Yeah. But he will be Kāwhia's.
But he's specifically appointed to control this.
And on flexible shift pattern, so not as rigid as the last one.
Through you, Mr. Chair, what was that? Is there a resident?
Not a resident one, but a relieving one that's here. That's double Dutch, isn't it? We've got our own, we've got a replacement for John.
John O'Stone's clear.
Is John left?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Because I'm sure you've all been aware of the escalation in this town with crime and break-ins and
There's been a few dodges.
and for those of you who didn't see that Facebook post, at least the community's fighting back and posting photos of people that are driving around in vans. So it's good. It's good to see. There was good postings going on the people. I'm sure they won't be coming back to Kāwhia. I just remind members about the Aotea Opera concept plan meeting on Saturday, people come along that. And just to say that Ellen and Sandra Rube and Ross Dockery have resigned from the hall committee here, and the hall functioning will be taken over by Oklahoma District Council. And part of our workshopping later on today will be go through the mechanics of that. Right? So there will be a function for the outgoing committee, and I'll keep you updated on that. It'll be something off-site, and it'll be an official presentation, but I'll keep you board members updated on when that's happening. So thank you for that. And I would like to acknowledge the work that's been put in for the last 18 years to keep this place ticking over. And I'm sure that with the amount of work that's needed to get it up to scratch now with some of the things that have been not so delayed, but certainly need to be done. And now that there's some certainty around the place, we're looking forward to it. Good to see that the Sands of Kāwhia is finally open today. Please give it a 100% support. If anyone's been involved in hospital, the hardest time is that first 2 weeks when your staff are teething in, settling in, and just your chef's cooking, and so give them 100% support. It's been a long time coming, that one. That's all from me.
Oh, sorry, Jeff, there was just one thing, sorry to interrupt. It's just a preliminary notice, but for those who may be interested, the sports club are having an annual meeting on Saturday, the 24th of June. I think it is 24th of June. So they're hoping to be able to present some plans and costings at that stage, as far as the rebuild goes.
Good. Ruben.
Saturday, the 24th.
Moving on to the resolutions register. On page 8, your second to last page of your agenda. So K24, there's a resolution in there. K24 recommend that the Otaronga District Council conduct a review of the local Easter trading shop Sunday hours to review the continuing existing policy. We did that at the workshop last month, so we all agreed to carry on with that one, isn't it? Yeah, that's part of the process. Can someone move that the Kāwhia Community Board confirm the removal of resolution K24 from the register? Yeah, Councillor Harper, seconder. And all those in favour? Against? Carried. Closing formalities. We had a little initiation last month, so before the karakia, we'll just like to have Richard, Councillor Huff, Board Member Huff. Have the floor. Welcome you to the floor.
Earlier, and I'm probably going to make a hash of it, so it'd be better if we were offline. But my apologies for my pronunciation, it is what it is. Kia ora katoa. Ko hikoroa te mākau, ko waikawaiti te awa, ko pukituraki te marae, ko urua, ara tiru, ni takitumu ka waka, ko kati huriaka, ko kati hawia, mi kai te rau hiki hiki ka hapu, ko tahu ko tiki I takata, ko kai tahu te iwi, I aha toru ka tamariki, mi whiti titu ta mokopunu. Ko Richard Harper aha tina koutou, tina katoa.
Kia ora.
That's best I can do. I hope to be better.
You're doing very well. Thank you. I just like
Like the Toronto Horse Club, I have that. Absolutely.
now you get to nominate next month's one.
Ah, I've got to do my Yoda, is it?
No, yes, you pick the next one. Okay. Who has closing words of wisdom before our karakia?
I think I've got this one. Am I supposed to be delivering some words? or-
No, you've already done it. You're nominating someone for next month.
My Pepe hard wasn't it?
That was great.
But he's got some words, Chair, I think Richard's got some words.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah.
What's that word? It's the same that I blurted out last week. Personally, I admire greatly. My words of wisdom are, stay safe, take care, and be kind. And, Hinga, you're up next.
Well done. Well done. Thank you, team. I'll now call on board member Few to say a karakia.
O tēnā tātou, tēnā koe te whanauka, Richard. Nō reira, tēnā koe tānia te tumu whakarai, I whakawātea a koe ki te uru ki runga te hui Zoom, nō reira tēnā tātou katoa. He tino pai tēnei hui te rangi nei, he pai ki te whakarongo ki nā kōrero pai, nō reira tēnā tātou, ka inui tātou. Mana hui te tapu matua te kore, mana hui te tapu matua te pō, mana hui te tapu matua te ao, mana hui te tapu matua te hawa, mana hui te tapu matua te iki e, haumi e hui e, tai ki e. Nō reira, tēnā tātou.
It's 5:04 and I close the meeting in harmony.
Very good.
Thank you. We do